How can we converge any image type into a 3D mesh without modeling it in Blender? Alright, so here we are inside Blender 5. So I'd like to start by deleting everything we got in the scene. So we can just left click and drag like this, and you can press X and delete the selected objects. After that, I'd like to drag and drop our reference image. So we got the Starbucks logo. I'd like to simply drag it here and let's operate on it. So I'd like to make it flat on the floor. So you can press N, jump to item, and we can press left click. We can left click and drag down, press 0, press enter. So this one's going to reset the logo to be at the center. Same thing here for the rotation. We can just left click and drag, press 0 and enter. Alright, so the next step is going to be to turn this image into mesh plane. So let's left click on it and we can do right click and convert to mesh plane. And we can just click on OK. So after that, we need to add the displacement modifier so that we can extrude our logo out. So we did select it, we can just left click on it, and we can jump here to the modifiers, and we can add the displace modifier. You can just write it here and click on the displace. So now it's added. So after that, we have to load our texture. So on the bottom here, we have the option to add the texture properties. You can just click on new, and let's open image, and we can double click on our logo. So now it's loaded. So all we have to do right now is to add or subdivide our plane so that we can see our logo. So on the edit mode, I'd like to press Ctrl E, subdivide, and we can increase the subdivisions up to, let's say 30, press enter, and let's go back to the object mode. So now the displace modifier is working, but we have to adjust the UVs. So right now our Starbucks logo is duplicated multiple times. So what we can do, we can left click here and jump to the modifiers. And for the coordinates, we can change it from local to just UVs. So now we got it here. So all we have to do is to add more subdivisions. So on the edit mode, we can press Ctrl E, subdivide. I'd like to increase that up to, let's say 5. Let's go back to the object mode and we can go to the other side. There we go. So we start to see our logo. Also, we can add one additional subdivision, Ctrl E, subdivide one more, go back to the object mode. There we go. So that looks much more better. We can also try to reduce the strength down, something like 0.25. It's going to be enough. Alright, so the next step is going to be to clean up our mesh. So first what I'd like to do, I'd like to apply the displace modifier. So we can just left click here, and inside the modifiers, we can just click here and apply the displace modifier. So after that, we can delete these empty spaces that we don't need, these spaces like this. So what we can do, we can press 1 to be facing front, and we can press tab to switch to the edit mode, press Z to switch to the wireframe, and we can select the bottom base like this. And we can press X to delete it. So now we are left with only the logo. Let me just take a look at it. You can also delete this part here. So I think, yeah, this part here. Let me just press 7 to go to the front, and we can scroll down and let me just select this base, and we can press X and delete those vertices. All right, after that, we can flatten the entire shape. So we can press A, try S, Z, and press 0. So this way it's going to be flat. And there we go. So we can see our logo here. So next we need to smooth out this shape. But in order to smooth out this edge, we have to extract the edge alone because we don't need this geometry at the center here. So what we can do, we can press A to select everything, press E, extrude up, and we can just click outside here to deselect everything. And we can jump to select and select sharp edges. But from here, we only need one sharp edge, whether the top or the bottom. So we can press 1 to be facing the front, press Z again to switch to the wireframe. We can press B, shift, and let's deselect the bottom like this. Alright, so now we have only the top. We can press Shift D to duplicate it, and we can take it to the right here. And from here we can press P, separate selection, and we can go back to the object mode, and we can just delete this object. You can just press X and delete it, and let's operate on this one alone. You can press 7 to go to the top. Let me just zoom in, and after that I'd like to smooth out this edge. So we can just, on the modifiers, we can add a new modifier. It's going to be the smooth modifier, this one here, and we can take that factor up something like 1.2, and we can repeat these iterations. Let me just repeat them, let's say 8 times. There we go, that looks better. We can just apply this smooth modifier. All right, so we got it. Also, we can remove the duplicates. So let me just press A, press M, and remove by distance. So 170 vertices are removed. We can also increase that distance so that we can get rid of those. So 200 are removed. Let me just take that one step up. Almost 3000 vertices are removed, which is good. So I think that's enough. I'm gonna just stop right here. So from here, what we have to do, we have to unsubdivide this mesh because it has too many vertices. For example, here we don't need this much vertices. So you can press A to select everything, go to the edge, and we can click on unsubdivide. So I think 2 is too much. Let me just take it one step. So just 1 is gonna be enough. All right, so now we need to start the filling process. So let me just select, for example, here the face. You can select this part and we can try Alt F like this. Let me just switch to the solid so that you can see it. For the eyes here, we can just press L to fill them, press F. Also, I'd like to select all these, the entire shape, press F to fill it. Same thing here. But actually this one has a gap at the middle. We don't need to use it. Let me just press L here, press F. And for this one here, we can press L and L again, and we can press Control, or actually Alt F. But it's not working. Let me just revert back and we can try to clean it up even better because I'm sure there is some problems with it. We have some issues here. Yeah, this one here. So this is the issue. So I'm gonna just get rid of this edge. Let me just select this edge, press X and delete, actually dissolve edge, get rid of it. All right, so now if you press L again, and if we try Alt F, you're gonna be filling that space without any problems. So also I'd like to get rid of this edge. We can just switch to the wireframe, edge mode, we can press C and let me just deselect these vertices, we don't need them. Let me just zoom in here. Something like this, press delete vertices, X and delete them. All right, so we got that. Also, for example, this part here, let me just get rid of these vertices. Same thing here. And we got it, we got our logo. So all we have to do right now is to add the solidify modifier to give it some depth. So you can add here the solidify modifier and we can increase that up to something like 0.25. So we got some problems here with the normals. So on the edit mode, you can try A and Shift N to flip the normals. So some parts are not flipped, so we have to do them manually. So for the viewport shading, I'd like to improve it. We can switch to the matte cap and let me just switch to this. So this way we're gonna be seeing our logo even better.